Welcome to another week of Instigating with Clarky and Drury, brought to you by our friends, as always, at Cool Bet Canada, the Listowel Squash Courts, Listowel Vision Care, and See the Game. Ryan Drury alongside Chris Clark. Later on this show, we'll be joined by our friend Steve Dangle, who you all know, of course, in Leafs Nation. But first, we're joined by a great special guest, a producer at Sportsnet 650 Vancouver, a media manager for the BC Hockey League, the BCHL, and a goaltending video coach and contributor to In Goal Magazine, our friend Greg Balloch. Greg, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate your time, my friend. Obviously, you're in a market right now that is quite noisy when it comes to hockey. But let's just start with how you got involved in the game. Obviously, you've got a pretty unique story. You're what I would probably tab as a goalie expert. I was on a previous podcast with you about a month or so ago with our friend Dwayne Steinel down in Buffalo. And I thought you'd be a great guest for the show after we interacted there. Give everybody a little bit of a background on how you got involved in the game.
Sure. Yeah. I grew up in Ontario. I'm actually from Hamilton originally. So I wasn't born into this mess here in Vancouver, unfortunately. But I just grew up as a hockey player. My dad was a goalie, and I latched onto the position at a really young age. And I was telling you guys off the air, I kind of realized at a young age I didn't have what it took to go all the way. So I just started getting into coaching and helping my dad out at his camps, and eventually helping other schools out. And I just really loved, the teaching aspect of it. And goaltending is a great position for that because there's a lot of technical details to it. So, I've been doing that pretty much my whole life, it feels like. And I got into the media side of the business. I went to school for radio, and I ended up getting a job out here in Vancouver with Sportsnet after a few years. And it's been great. I've been here for about 10 years now. And it's been a great place to me here in Vancouver so far.
And Vancouver, obviously a great city. I'm actually going to be there in a few weeks. So if you're free, maybe we should get a beer or something. But yeah, let's talk about something that a lot of people are hacking up over beers over in Vancouver right now. And that's the Vancouver Canucks, who are off to a almost historically bad start in terms of the franchise and the league. It's incredible that they started 0-6, and they were the first team to do that and hold multi-goal leads in all of those games. It's just insane what's been going on out there. And the fan base is, we talk about Clarky and I a lot. Clarky's a Leaf fan. We talk a lot about, I don't know if toxicity is the right word. Let's call it malfeasance, if you will, here in Toronto. Vancouver is on another level right now, Greg. What is it like in the city right now among Canuck fans?
Well, it's not great. Like I see the text inbox every morning, right? When I go in the morning, and we get the brunt of it at 650. So people aren't happy, and rightly so. And I think it's their worst start since some of the 80s seasons, which, as you guys know, the Canucks weren't good. There were some pretty historically awful teams in that stretch. So to be looped in with those teams, it's never a good sign. And people just are fed up. And I think you're right. There is this sort of, a feeling amongst the fan base, or just, I think Brian Burke used to come on the show all the time as a regular. I think he called it the lunatic fringe. That just is so loud and boisterous, and they really aren't the true nature of what Canucks fans are feeling. But there's just this super loud portion of the fan base that just it's like in Toronto, the same sort of sense where they just demand results, and when they don't get it, you definitely get some of that negativity swirling around, and I think it's all coming to a head right now with the start they're having this year.
You talk about demanding results. Like in Toronto, it's always sold out. Are the Canucks having any trouble there in the attendance at the arenas?
It's pretty easy to get a ticket. I think they might claim a sellout most of the time, and I'm pretty sure the tickets are sold. But like I said, it's not hard to get a Canucks ticket for most games right now, at least. With the way things are going, it's not the hottest ticket in town. We're giving them away in the morning show, and it's it's with the Bieksa game coming up here. That was obviously a big draw for a lot of people. They wanted to go see the retirement ceremony.
He could probably still play.
He probably could. He was out practicing with them. I saw they suited him up, but Yeah, the defense it's interesting. That's to say the least. It's been interesting.
So Bruce Boudreau comes in there and he's the hero. Team turns around after Travis Green had some troubles. Now he's having trouble. In Toronto here, there's been a lot of chatter lately about Sheldon Keefe. The Leafs have stood pat so far. We'll see what happens, but it looks like right now they are going to. Coaching probably isn't the issue if a coach does turn things around and then the team goes right back to where it is. Where do you pinpoint the problems with the Canucks right now?
Yeah, it's tough to say because, it really, I think, comes down to a personnel issue with the Canucks and the players they have, the current group that's there. Because like you said, Bruce comes in and everything seems like it's fine and dandy. Oh, this is the team that they're supposed to be. But now you look at them this year and it's right back to what it was. So I think that a lot of people feel probably vindicated, the ones that were saying, there's deeper rooted issues to the team. And I think that's kind of what Rutherford conveyed when he first took over as well, was the end of the season, or I guess later after he took over, was late end of the season. He didn't really put a lot of stock into it, he said, because he kind of chalked it up to Demko just being really good and masking a lot of the issues that the team still had pre-Bruce. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what direction they go in too, because I think as you guys probably saw in After Hours a few weeks ago, Rutherford was on again, and he mentioned that he thought Bruce was just on the 1-year contract, right? And he was unsure of the situation when he came in. So that kind of got everyone thinking, like, what is Bruce's future actually? Is he just a guy who's going to get blown out and Mike Yeo is going to take over? Because you think of the Canucks coaching staff, they have a few guys in the row there that could take over and have coached in the NHL before. So it's not looking good for Bruce if this continues, I think.
You know what I hate the most about the way the league is right now is the salary cap and its damper on trades. Because back in the day, the Leafs have sucked, the last few games. They won against the Flyers, of course, on Wednesday night. But there would have been something. Something would have been done. They would have made a trade for the sake of making a trade. But I think it really sucks with the salary cap the way it is right now. And a lot of the teams at the cap. And it's just so hard nowadays to make a trade. And it's just... It's really missing from this league, I think, compared to other leagues.
Yeah, and I think trade has been the route that they've specified that they want to go. If there's not a lot of options out there for signing guys, they said, so trade is the only way. And Jim Rutherford loves to trade. I know he's not the official GM, but he's the one pulling the strings. Yeah. He wants to make a move. You think he'd make it happen, but they're so their hands are tied by the cap, and they don't really have a lot of wiggle room to make a big splash or a big move. So we've seen they've called it pecking away. So we saw the trade with the Flyers, and they picked up Studnicka. So they got a few things here and then. They acquired Ethan Bear. So they're doing little things that they can do to improve this roster. But the big huge move that Rutherford, I'm sure, would love to see made isn't going to happen, I don't think, unless somehow they clear up tons of cap space, which, like you said, isn't easy to do.
Right. What do you want for JT Miller? Let's just make a deal right now, because I think a guy like JT Miller is a guy the Leafs could use for sure. But what does it say about a team that when they sign a guy to an 8-year deal and immediately want to move him away, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. How's Dr. Demko doing out there? Talk about goalies.
Yeah, Demko, I've had to field a ton of questions about him early this year, right? Because it's goals against has been an issue for this Canucks team. But I was talking with Kevin Woodley, who's my boss with In Goal Magazine when I write for them, and I was just like, what is going on here? Because I can't pinpoint anything that's really standing out to me that's wrong with his game. And he sort of echoed my thoughts, which was nice to hear, because he's like, a lot of the goals have been just breakdowns and huge 2-on-1s and just backdoor passing plays that the only way you're going to get a goalie to get to those plays is by asking him to cheat to one side. And then you're going to get beat on the front door because guys are going to, so it's just like a huge mess of what's going wrong with the Canucks funneling to Demko essentially. And it's not been pretty. Early on in the season, he hasn't been able to keep up to his form that he was at the end of last season. And I think this is the true Canucks that we're seeing once Demko plays, not up to standard. This is what you get.
Yeah, I actually don't really have a problem with the way Demko's playing. Like, yeah, you would like to see similar results to what he was able to do in that run when Bruce first took over last year. But I'm watching his game, and I really don't see where it is exactly that he's having, mechanical breakdowns or anything with the way he's playing goal. Like you said it, he's not going to go over and cheat. So he's just playing the way he should. He's playing the shot. And when guys break down and leave a guy on the back door, a lot of tap-in goals against Canucks, especially early there when they were blowing those leads. I really don't have a problem with the way Demko's playing, but you brought up the way the team's constructed, and I'd like your opinion on this, Greg. And Clarky, you could chime in too, right? Because you watch this team I'm going to bring up a lot. They remind me right now of those mid-2010 Maple Leaf teams, where they had a couple of pretty good skilled players. You think of the Kessels of the world, back with the Leafs, Morgan Riley, of course. Now you kind of look at Vancouver and you see Pettersson, who I think is a number one center. And I wouldn't be shocked someday if he put up a 100-point season. He's that talented. He is. And then you got Quinn Hughes there, if you want to compare him to your Morgan Riley. And then Demko and net. Like you've got some good spine there. It's everything else around it that is questionable. Brock Besser, God love the kid. He's hurt all the time, and that's not his fault. But then you look at the roster and the way it's been built around them. The Canucks have thrown a ton of money at older guys over this 8 or 9 years, if you will, where they've hamstrung themselves with some bad deals. Eriksson, Beagle, Roussel, like down the list of guys that they've signed. Now they've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I don't know how you get rid of that deal. It's not impossible, but it'll be very tough. 4 more years of that does not look promising. What's your opinion of that? They remind me a lot of those Leaf teams where they thought that they were way better than they were for about 3 or 4 years, and it really set the Leafs back. What do you think of that?
Yeah, they need their Matt Stajan, Nick Hagman trade to Calgary. I think their version of that to shake things up, because that's what they need, right? Like it's just this core has been, I think it's been deemed stale by a lot of people here, in Vancouver, which sucks because the core was deemed stale when Torts took over, right? So it's like, what have we been doing this whole time? It just feels like a huge waste of an opportunity to rebuild and build around the core that they have. So. I think the big 3 that you mentioned are the 3 that people would love to keep. Hughes, Pettersson, and Demko are the 3 untouchables. But other than that, I think you go nuts. Honestly, I think you just tear it apart, and you bring in players that you think are going to be making a positive impact. I think the Bo Horvat situation is certainly interesting. He's your captain. He's off to a great start to the year. So that I'm sure they're just in the front office going, oh my God, what do we do now? The guy's the only pulse that we have on the team so far this year. So, you trade that, like, so there's a lot of tough questions that Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford are going to have to answer, because this, other than the 3 that I mentioned, I don't think anybody's really off limits for the reshaping of the roster. And it kind of feels like for the last year we've just been waiting for the hammer to drop, but I think the cap issues, like you mentioned, are what's really holding this team back right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look down the lineup, Garland, Hoglander, all those guys. I mean, like, if you can make some moves here and free up cap space and get some draft capital, let's do it. I'm friends with Samantha Chang. We've had her on the show before. She, of course, is now doing the Canucks post games on Steve Dangle's network. And they have talked a lot on their show, The Broadcast, recently about how it's insulting, really, that Canucks management and ownership, because this really all starts and stops with Francesco Aquilini, who is, I would describe him as not a popular figure among Canucks fans. They are saying it's basically insulting that they continue to insinuate that fans there can't, quote unquote, handle a rebuild. Now, they said that in Montreal for years, and look what they're doing. What is your take on that? Because if someone said that about, my fan base or my team, and we sucked for this long, or just were even worse than sucking, inept, where you're lost in this twilight zone, I would take that as a little bit of an insult myself, Greg.
It's baloney. It's total baloney. I think people here would embrace a rebuild. Honestly, I think, like I said, it's been 10 years essentially of just treading water. And I was a Blue Jays fan through the 90s. I know what that's all about. It's not a fun place to be, right? So I think the rebuild would be totally fine. I think people would love a complete rebuild. It would be almost like it's about time kind of situation. So I think, you mentioned Montreal as the perfect example of a market that, you'll get much more hockey than the Montreal Canadiens. So I think the fan base there being fully embracing this rebuild, it shows you that any Canadian market could handle it if there's light at the end of the tunnel. For so many years there with Benning, there was no light at the end of the tunnel. It was guys like you said, Beagle getting signed, Ferland coming in, and just signing after signing of decent hockey players, but just guys that just didn't have it anymore and were way past their expiration date most of the time. And it's just why wouldn't you see a rebuild as more of a positive thing, right? Because it's 10 more years of that otherwise, and people know that. You're not going to fool this fan base, and we're getting to the point now where I'm starting to notice people are getting apathetic about the team, and that's what better opportunity to rebuild than when you have an apathetic fan base that's just bored of mediocrity for so many years, right? Mm-hmm. It just seems like a great time to do it.
You have a rival now. I think it's Interstate 5 with Seattle Kraken. Yeah, it would be pretty embarrassing, I guess, to finish below them. Is there a nice, good rivalry building with that Seattle franchise right now in Vancouver?
I'd say it's building now. Last year it wasn't. Mm-hmm. Last year we thought about Seattle for the opening game, and that was about it. They were pretty toothless, I think, for most of the season. But this year it's been like a whole new team. I don't know if you've seen many of the highlights from their games or watched any of the games, but man, Beniers just is so exciting. He's the exact type of player that I was most scared of as a goalie. Just sneaky with the puck, sneaky release. You never know when they're going to let it go. Just the perfect type of player that as soon as he gets the puck on his stick, like the hair in the back of your neck just goes up, right? And he's made a huge difference. He had a big game-winning goal the other night. So I think, I think there's a rivalry building now. The last time they played, it was definitely a little bit more of a fight to it. So it was nice to see.
What do you think they're going to do with Shane Wright?
They got to send him
playing
back.
Tonight.
He's playing tonight?
Yeah, he's playing tonight. He missed 4 in a row, I think.
Yeah.
But
they got to send him back.
I agree with you, Ryan.
Enough's enough.
Yeah.
We had Allison Lucan on the show not too long ago. She's an analyst there with Seattle. And
that's right.
She said they've been adamant that they don't think he has anything to gain about going back. And
he's got to play.
You think he would instead of not playing? But
see, that's when a team gets a little hint of winning. They want to win all the time instead of develop, right? And to me, they're still a developing team, and winning and getting off to a good start could hurt the development of Shane Wright if they don't play him. He's got to play one way or another.
Well, winning is huge, because we were actually laughing in the preseason because Dave Hackstall was running it like Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. He was down to 3 lines, and it's like, this is a preseason game, but they wanted to get off to a good start.
Yeah.
They want to win, so. I guess they didn't like how it was last year, how it was just, speaking of attendance issues, they're not the hottest ticket in town anymore, and NBA's coming. So I think they're starting to feel the pressure a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. My opinion, I think they should send him back, because get this kid some reps. You're still a rebuilding franchise, literally from the ground up. Send him back. The rumors I've heard too, in my OHL circles, chatting with people, is that if he was sent back, Kingston would trade him. And they'd probably trade him to a team that's going to make some noise. I'm thinking Ottawa. I'm thinking Flint. I'm thinking Windsor. And let him go to the World Juniors and dummy that tournament. Have a good tournament. Get yourself feeling good. Get a gold medal, and let's go. And then bring him back next year, a little more mature with some more muscle on the bones. That'd be my opinion. And I like your comment too about the Jim Benning era. I mean, not a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of jet black hair dye, though.
And the Mike Gillis era was the same as the Jim Benning era. Wasn't it?
And again, I think they're all hamstrung by Aquilini. He just refuses to have this team be what he considers not competitive. But I don't know what this is then.
It's tempting bizarre to be competitive.
Sure. I mean, I guess like they spend money and they sign guys and they make moves. It's just they're all wrong. And I mean, their draft record's not exactly unreal either. Although I do like Podkolzin. I think he has a future. I like this Kuzmenko kid, so I would keep them as part of whatever rebuild eventually probably has to happen. Greg, I do want to ask you a little bit about some goaltending storylines. Of course, sure. You're now our resident goalie expert. Okay, Clarkie tried it.
Come on, man.
He thinks he's the goaltending expert. He's not. I want to ask you about a guy that Clarkie's cheering for right now, the former goaltender for my favorite NHL franchise. We talked about him a little bit when we were on Dwayne's podcast together, and that's Ilya Samsonov. I guess it's Samsonov now. It's no longer Samsonov.
Yeah, he changed it back.
What's your opinion on him so far? Because I remember chatting with you on that show that we were on, and I voiced my opinions on Ilya Samsonov. Everybody knows what I think of him. I just I'm frustrated with him. I was done. I'm happy Kemper is my goalie now. But he's playing really, really well here, but he's done this before. What is it that has held him back up to this point, and what are you seeing from him right now, Greg?
Yeah, it's been an inconsistent career so far for him, right? And I think that's something that a Capitals fan would know for sure about Ilya Samsonov. And I've been willing to give him a lot of, a break the last little while because of his injury issues and the COVID problems. And he felt like he's been dealing with so much in the last little while. I was a little shocked that the Capitals did give up on him so quickly. But I think that's the biggest thing with him is just that consistency, the building that technical foundation that allows him to, when he isn't on his A game to actually still be a passable goaltender. And I think that's not been his issue. Hasn't been the high end talent. He obviously has the ceiling to be a top tier goaltender, but like I said, he needs that. When he's got his B and C game, he needs to be able to get by, and I don't think he's been able to bring that at the NHL level so far. When he starts to struggle, it's a bit of a spiral, as you've probably seen. So I liked what I've seen early on from him this year with the Leafs. I think it's exactly what they would need. I think the Leafs are a team that just needs a serviceable goaltender. They don't need outstanding goaltending with the roster they have. So, I think he's been really, really good. And I just hope he stays healthy. I'm just crossing my fingers that he can keep it going, because every time he gets a little bit of momentum, it feels like it just gets all taken away from him by injuries.
And the other guy can't. So the
other guy can't.
Yeah, he can't get momentum at all. Never mind stay healthy. So
it's pretty wild. I guess the final thing I'll say about Samsonov for a while, Clarkie, I promise, he can make the saves you're not supposed to make all the time, but the saves you're supposed to make, he has a lot of trouble with, and that's the most damning thing I could probably say about him. That's all he showed us in Washington.
There's a lot of goalies like that.
Yeah, and they don't win, do they?
Well, so it's the finer details, right? It comes down to like about the technical
Darcy Kemper
foundation.
Was one of those last year.
So. Yeah, how you come in and out of your post, like your transitions. Those are the tiny where you see those squeaker goals that kind of get through on the short side and stuff. Those are the little details that he doesn't have quite figured out yet. That can be infuriating because you like you said, you make all these crazy saves, the ones that you don't expect them to make, and then the squeaker goes in on the side of the post. So it's like, there's clearly something amiss there, and it comes down to those finer details.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, the Capitals would have beat Florida last year if they had not him in net. So yeah, I'm done with him. I'm frustrated, and I'm personally glad he's gone. I wish him well. Before we let you go, Greg, I'm just curious. I want to ask you this. Who do you think, because this is always a great debate, who do you think is the greatest goalie of all time? And who's your favorite goalie of all time?
Well, I think the two answers will probably solidify my non-bias into my answer who I think the best goalie is, because I grew up a Marty Brodeur fan and sort of a Devils fan by proxy because I watched a lot of his games. So Brodeur was my guy, but I still think Dominik Hasek is I'm a big stats nerd, and statistically there is no argument for any other goaltender to even come close to what Dominik Hasek has done on the teams that he did. I've written articles actually when he got elected to the Hall of Fame. I wrote a piece just kind of putting into terms, or trying to put into terms, how much better than the competition he was at the time that he played. was there's no contest. He was the Gretzky of goaltending for most of the 90s. And I think, anyone who says Dominik Hasek is 3 or 4, I usually disregard, because he turned a team that had, barely over 2 goals per game offense to a Stanley Cup final franchise. Like, if he was in net, they had a chance to win every single night. And I don't think there's a greater compliment that you can give a goaltender than that.
Literally carried a team. Clarky, what's your opinion? I know who your favorite is.
Well, it's hard to argue. Like, Martin Brodeur, probably to me, is number 1 when it comes to goalies, but like Hasek would be right there. Like, there's no question about it. But my favorite goalie, like, they're going to date myself, but Mike Palmateer was my favorite. Just growing up being a Leaf fan, and
of course,
there was nothing else to cheer about in the 70s with them. But the Popcorn Kid came in, and he was just a spectacular guy in the nets. And when I worked for the Leafs and he worked for the Leafs, I got to know him, and he was a great guy. And that dream game I played at the Air Canada Center at the time with me in one net and Palmateer in the other net, I will never forget. He was getting ready for the Alumni Winter Classic in Detroit, so it was fun.
He was a flashy goalie too. He loved.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Mike Palmateer didn't mind a 2-pad stack. Yeah, no, he was for sure. He was special.
I want to give a little love to Dryden too. I think for that list as well. He had a short career, but
he was on a powerhouse.
As good as
Dryden's career.
As good as anybody's, though. As good as anybody's, and in that short time.
Yeah,
and I want to say about Brodeur too. But Brodeur had a bigger impact, I think, on the position, just the puck handling aspect of it.
Yeah,
I don't think enough credit is given to Brodeur for. He was the guy. Goalies were just guys that set the puck up. Basically, Hextall may have been the first one to really play the puck, but Brodeur was just so proficient at it, and the techniques that he used to break the puck up. It was a new world for goalies when he started doing that, and he was the best at it. There's no question. So I think those stats don't really give him credit for that, and I think that needs to be built into his case as well.
And just a little tip for goalies: this past Sunday when I was playing men's league, and I'm not giving you guys the finger, but I don't know if you can see the holes in my finger where they had to drill to let the blood out. My blocker I tried to catch the puck with my blocker hand. That doesn't usually go very well. It didn't go very well. Instantly down onto the ice. I tried to ice it down. I couldn't hold my stick for the next 25 minutes. Off to the hospital after. Drill the holes in the nail. Use the hard side of the blocker, young boys. It's much.
Yeah, get you a practice glove for the other hand too. Got to protect those hands.
Exactly.
That's a great tip, Clarky.
Thank you.
What a dynamite
tips with Clarky. That's going to be a weekly segment.
Absolutely, yeah. That belongs on the Dangits right there. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that didn't.
No, I agree. I agree on
your pain.
I agree on Hasek. I think he's the best ever. Braden Holtby, obviously, probably my favorite goalie. He won my team a cup finally. Like, what else can I really say about the guy? And I feel bad that his career's basically been cut short due to injury. But he was great. But Hasek's on another level. Greg, we really appreciate you doing this, my friend. It was a great pleasure to have you on. We'd love to have you back, chat about some more goaltending, probably maybe around Christmas time when some guys start to solidify their seasons a little more. But this was great, man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, around Christmas time would be great. I think that's right around the Canucks are scheduled to be eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, that's perfect. Or maybe the time that JT Miller is traded to the Leafs along with Mitch Marner. I don't want to make that happen.
You never know. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have you on to put the final nail in the coffin, Greg.
Sounds good.
That's perfect. Good. Thank you for doing this, my friend.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, as promised, our friend and yours, Mr. Steve Dangle, next here on Instigating. Back here on Instigating with Clarky and Drury. Thanks to our friend Greg Balloch of Sportsnet 650 and the BCHL for joining us on here. And now, as promised, your friend and mine, you know him from the Steve Dangle podcast, LFR, Sportsnet, SDPN. He is not a hard guy to track down on the interwebs.
His book. You got to remember his book.
His book.
Oh, best-selling book.
Is best-selling book. Yes. This team is ruining my life. It's Mr. Steve Dangle. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Are you?
We're going to ease our way into the Leaf discussion here,
I sure
Steve.
went up there, didn't I? Yeah, no, I've just been, I am getting just baseball batted right in the face by cold and flu season because I have a toddler, and tick season because I have a dog.
Fun.
Oh, no.
He's just been covered in them. So we got to figure out. Yeah, we got to figure out a solution. But the flea and tick medication works. I can testify to that because if we do find any ticks on them, they're either dying or dead. So
wow.
There you go.
The woods? Where does he get them?
Yeah, the tall grass. He goes to a dog walker.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just runs face first into a bush. And I know he does because I've seen him do it, but also all of them are on his forehead, his top of his head, his face, his neck, and none on the rest of his body. Anyway, so there's my Bob Barker moment. Everyone get your pet spayed or neutered and also get tick stuff.
Perfect. Hey, Ryan mentioned the book. Well, I mentioned the book. I'm 8 hours through this 10-hour episode of your first book. I'm sure there's a sequel coming, but I have a couple of questions and I want to hear more about some stories.
Okay.
The story when you were meeting with, I presume, the Nike guys, if I remember correctly, and your lawyer was with you. Lawyer,
yeah.
Quote unquote. How did you ever drum that up? And did the guys know this wasn't a lawyer? And tell the story.
The answer is we thought it was a good idea because we were 20. And yes, they absolutely knew that was not my lawyer because he was also 20.
So tell Ryan the story quickly here.
So basically I was meeting with, I didn't know it was Nike at the time.
Right.
I was meeting with an agency. And at the time I didn't understand what that meant at all. And they wanted me they wanted to know my rates to like participate in a campaign. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea where they wanted me to go. I'm in school still at the time. I want to say it was third year university still when we had that conversation. I had maybe just turned 21. And
but they told you to bring your agent or your lawyer. Yeah,
they're like, bring your agent or your lawyer, like bring some sort of representation. And they told me that because I was originally ghosting them because I'm like, no, this person's they're gonna, I don't know, take my personal information or take my skin and wear it as a hat or like, I don't know who these people are. And so my buddy, his name is Derek Ryder. He's actually quite successful now. He's got his own business. And he worked at the bank. So I had like 2 button-up shirts to my name and both used to belong to my dad. Whereas Derek actually had to have like nice clothes, like a, nice shirt, nice pants and a vest. And so I was like, hey man, can you just come and pretend to be, I don't remember if I went with agent or lawyer. I think it was lawyer. And they show up and they see some, like I had a baby face. He had a baby face. There's these 2 children. Basically, and they knew 100% that he was not my lawyer, and they handed me this basically a confidentiality agreement that I had to sign before we even begun the conversation. But there was a clause in there that wouldn't have allowed me to work for their competition. So I was trying to get into sports media. So I'm like, okay, what if they're from the Score? We talk and I don't get into the Score, and then all of a sudden I can't work for Leafs TV. I can't work for Sportsnet.
Yeah, that's bogus. Yeah,
exactly. So they told me, and probably against orders, but they just go, the client is Nike. And I just immediately like sign it as fast as I can. And my buddy had to go because he had a prior appointment, which was really, he had to catch like the go bus to Brampton to have dinner with his parents. And just on the way out, he just gives me this wide-eyed look like, holy crap, you're talking to Nike, buddy. And but we didn't talk for months and months until we finally came up with a neat idea. Went to the World Juniors, went to the Olympics, and the rest is history.
It was a cool story to hear. And like the other part, I'm really like, I don't want to say enjoying, but the struggles of work and this, and, thinking you have stuff lined up, and then, John McCauley calling you in and our budget was slashed at Leafs TV. And you thought, those things were like it was like yesterday to me when I hear them. And I remember, like, we called for Ryan's purposes, we called Steve and said, come on in, we have to meet. We met, we talked about what we wanted to do. And then like a week later, we called him back in, and he thinks it's to sign the paperwork. And actually our budget was slashed, and we had to say, well, no, we're not doing this. And by the way, you're not doing what you did last year.
Yep.
The double like whammy, but the struggle was real, right?
I'll never forget. It was a show with Gail. And I was really jacked to do it. And as soon as I saw the look on your face and the look on John's face, like, I mean, you guys, I mean, you're my bosses for all intents and purposes. And there was a respect there and a power that you commanded. And when I saw you guys with just this completely powerless look on your face, I'm like, oh God, I'm screwed. Yeah. I'm totally screwed. I'm glad we can laugh about it now, but that was a bad day. Oh, that was a long train ride home.
No, for sure. And you knew I was your champion in there. Like, I wanted things to work for you because I told you we were going to make you a star, and you are a star. And I want to rest your mind at ease. Okay.
Sure.
The stuff about not being able to put your content on the fan website. Remember that?
Yes.
Right. And you said in your book about, a lot of things I've realized over time that, that was probably the right thing to do, but this thing wasn't. And you still believe it was. It was bullshit. I fought and fought and fought. And
I knew that wasn't you.
It definitely wasn't me. I'll tell you, it was Frank Hayward, and he just got involved. And anyway, rest easy that was the wrong thing to tell you at the time, but he tried to bully you. That's what it was all about. And it was not right. And
not the last.
It was
not the last.
Yeah. And anyway, it wasn't cool. So basically, Ryan, what happened was Steve was doing content for us, and we were, promoting his shows, and then his shows got on the fan, and like, he didn't have an exclusivity with us, but someone got involved and said, well, if he's doing work for us, he shouldn't be doing work for someone else. So, and
it wasn't like I was repurposing content, like doing stuff for Leafs TV and then just throwing it on the fan. Yeah. What I had actually done is all these contacts that I gained from Junior Hockey Magazine, we had these players, like highly touted draft prospects, come on the U of T Scarborough radio station that my buddy worked for. Yeah. And we recorded these interviews, but like, we had Tyson Barrie, Carter Ashton, Taylor Hall, Tyler Seguin, Nazem Kadri. Like, we had like big names of that draft class.
Kadri, you had Kadri?
We had Kadri. I don't know if Kadri was that day, but we did. You know what it was? I
you had a story about Kadri and not wanting him on something. Wasn't it Kadri?
Oh, because the London Knights were awful. They were awful to deal with for Junior Hockey Magazine.
What a surprise.
I know. No, I still hold that grudge to this day. They were awful to deal with.
Yeah.
And
they still are, Steve.
they were awful to deal with trying to line up John Tavares for an interview. Clarkie, I was able to get, I pulled off some miracles that year for that show, able to get guests. One guest ghosted us ever. That was Scott Glennie. So hold that grudge. Never ended up playing in the show. But they were so bad trying to book John Tavares that they were like, hey, we're going to have, we also have this kid, Nazem Kadri, if you ever want to have him on. And I went, yeah, okay, cool. That sounds great. Click. I am never having Nazem Kadri on this show. I told myself, never, ever, ever. And I was really jacked because I was like, what are the sheer mathematical odds that I won't have whoever the Leafs pick 7th overall's number? And they picked Kadri, and I could have cried. I was like, you gotta be kidding. I really did not like that pick at first. And then I learned a little bit more about him, and I was like, actually, this guy rules. But all those, I still remember when he was with the Marlies and he's butting heads with the coach, and I was like, London Knights, interesting.
What's wrong with the Leafs?
Man, talk about easing into
Here we go.
Oh my God. Like, I want to reaffirm what Steve said, though, just so you know, like I said, just in the OHL circles now, I interacting with different people calling games for the Storm. It's a common sentiment amongst people in media rooms that it's a tough organization to put up with almost in a sense. But
Wait, the Leafs or the Knights?
The Knights he's talking about.
Well,
Guelph was great.
Leafs,
I remember Guelph. They were great.
Still great. We know what we're doing. But no, maybe the Leafs for their fans, because let's just dump truck back into this. Obviously your content the last week has been
negative,
not to your fault, but just a negative spin, because it has been negative. A 4-game skid. They snap it this week against Philly, but boy, oh boy, of all the road trips you can think back on, that was pretty bad. And in your LFR following the San Jose game, I believe it was, and then this week's Monday Steve Dangle podcast, you said it's over for this group.
Yeah.
Tell our viewers what you mean.
I mean, it's over. I'm done trying to convince myself they're going to get it done with this particular group. I don't know if they have to trade one of the big four, but all their issues seem to come back to that. You trade Alex Kerfoot, you trade Justin Hall, you bring in a true LW, you bring in a better right-handed defenseman, but are you really going to improve at your 2 LW and your 2 or 3 RD for $5.5 million? Like, are you going to make a marked difference? They don't even have a full-time roster of centers right now. They got Matthews and Tavares that takes care of a lot of problems. They got David Kampf, who's unreal, but they're obviously trying to use David Kampf in a certain way. So they need a fourth guy. Maybe it's Holmberg. Maybe it is. We've only seen one game. I thought he looked fine, but they have too many issues to me to get it done. Like even in a win against Philadelphia, you give up a 2-0 or whatever it was at the beginning of the third period.
That was bad.
It was horrible. If one of Samsonov, you talk about issues, if one of Samsonov or Shelgren gets hurt, they can't call up another goalie. Matt Murray is hurt. Joseph Wool is hurt. And the rest of the guys aren't under contract.
I'm ready to go. Just by the way, I'm ready.
Yeah, and they can't sign. Yeah, there you go. And they can't sign like a Keith Petruzzelli who might be fine, or a Dryden McKay who might be fine, or a Dylan Ferguson who might be fine, because they don't have any roster slots. What are they supposed to do? So David right Ayers? Now, there could be. Actually, I'm pretty sure he had like knee surgery. Like,
oh, good.
That was the other thing. I got to shoot something with him at Jeff Merrick's house in his backyard rink. We did a video for Sportsnet, and he was a great guy, fun to deal with, but he's like talking about how much his knee hurts. And I'm like, they didn't just beat a 42-year-old Zamboni driver. Like, his knees hurt. He needs a surgically repaired knee. These guys stink. So like, it should say something that the number one defense of this team over the last couple of weeks is, well, they started bad last year too. That is not the flex you think it is.
And Mitch Marner's got to stop saying that.
He's got to stop saying it. They all got to stop saying it. Like, here's I think the big problem, and it probably radiates through the organization. I know they try this mind over matter positivity thing, and like when I heard a story. I want to say it was 2018. I can't remember, but the Leafs were down in a series, and there was no guarantee that they were going to get another home game. But everyone around the organization was saying, see you game 5 or 6 or whatever it was. And they try that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But how many failures do you need to have for that message to fall flat? So now the players within the room, you see them doing it. We got a lot of belief. We got a lot of confidence. Yeah. No one actually believes it. Right. So they can say that all they want, and it sounds good and it reads good. But I think the message has fallen flat. I think the vibes have fallen flat, and they'll win games. People are laughing at me like I didn't enjoy them beating Philadelphia. Guys, I want the Leafs to win. If the Leafs win every game for the rest of the season and they win the Stanley Cup, dunk on me all you want. Dunk on me at the parade. I don't care, as long as I get to go. I just don't think they can do it with this group.
Do you think they have to make changes at the top or changes with the players? Like, are the players capable, but they've tuned out or not listening or don't like the style that Sheldon Keefe is delivering right now?
Here's how I look at it. They liked Sheldon Keefe plenty not that long ago. And he's got the highest
Babcock. They did. Yeah.
That's true. But like, then what is the Leafs window? Is it 18 months until they get sick of the next guy as well?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if the coach, I mean, you can win a Stanley Cup in 18 months, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So I don't know how much the coach helps. Firing Dubas mid-season, I really don't think is going to do much. And his contract expires anyway. The guy I keep pointing to, and maybe it's not popular, and I got nothing against this person, but he has been the president of this organization for 8 years, is Brendan Shanahan. And they haven't won a lick. Yeah, they gotten better, for sure. They make the playoffs and lose now instead of before when I was working at Leafs TV, cutting, what were essentially highlight packs for the other team every time I showed up to work. Yeah, here's Alexander Ovechkin 4 or 5 years into the league, just absolutely tuning Jonas Gustafsson. Poor guy. It was a slaughter every time. But it's the president. It's the president. What weird voodoo grip does he have on this fan base and on the media that covers this team, where no one, like, everyone's talking about Keefe, everyone's talking about Dubas. I think Dubas is unpopular in a lot of hockey circles, and Keefe is his guy, so that makes him unpopular. Shanny's a Hall of Famer, and he's exactly the sort of player that the Leafs need right now. And it's bizarre beyond belief that Brendan Shanahan doesn't see a need for a Brendan Shanahan type player.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
That's the strange thing, isn't it? Right? Because, you can say what you want about Dubas. You can say what you want about Keefe. And I understand why some of the old school, old boys club, which, I mean, at this point now, who really gives a crap what that circle of people thinks? Anyway,
yeah, Clarky.
The game, well, no, but the game is slowly leaving those people behind. In 10 years' time, their opinions really won't matter. And I know a lot of them don't like Dubas because, yes, he's very heavy on analytics. Yes, he's very heavy on more informational sides of assessment with players. And let's just be frank, a lot of people don't like him because he got an opportunity like this at the age he did, which I think is a stupid way to approach things anyway.
With one of the best general managers in NHL history by his side at the time,
who has also had the game pass him by. I don't want to get into a Lou Lamoriello argument.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And I thought,
ask Islanders fans how they feel about the Godfather Lou. Right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get it.
So you can say what you want, but I'm glad you brought up Brendan Shanahan because there's a lot of popular discussion right now around him, and it is a weird dichotomy where he played the way he did. And look, we all know the game's not the same as the way when he played it. We understand that. But when we constantly bring up the number one criticism of this Leafs core and team for 5-6 years now, they're soft. They're easy to play against. You said it in your LFR after the San Jose game, and I believe the LA game. You said
almost all of them on
the podcast too, they are the second toughest team to play against every night. And I agree with you, and so does everybody else. So it's just weird that he is leading this group that continues to have this same type of layout. And it bothers me, Steve, when people go, oh, well, Brendan Shanahan, like he played on those Red Wings teams and they were all skill. No, they weren't. No. They absolutely were not. Vladimir Konstantinov, and God bless the guy before that limo accident, that guy would run people through the end wall and let Nick Lidstrom roam around the ice.
Maltby, Draper, McCarty.
Say what you will about, the soft, perception of Russian players. Igor Larionov was hard to play against. Mm-hmm. He's the professor. It's hard to play against. Sergei Fedorov, you couldn't get him off the puck. And Brendan Shanahan would absolutely destroy you. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. It's not just that they're like soft and easy to play against. It's that they're going backwards. So I think the toughest game they played of the season The popular answer is probably going to be the Jets game. I loved the fight of the Capitals game. It was their second game of the season. I love the fight of that game. I thought they were really feisty. I thought they brought it to Washington, and without dropping gloves, I don't think there was a fight in that game, but there was a lot of nastiness. That was a chippy game, especially the third period. And I think they did a lot to shed their perception as a softer team last year. I thought they took a lot of steps. Sheldon Keefe wanted the team to score more playoff style goals and crash the net. And then I'm watching them through the first 10 games this season, and the stats that they have at the top of the screen are hilarious, because you would see ozone time or ozone possession or whatever. The Leafs are killing the team who they're playing, but shots on goal.
Right. Shoot the freaking puck.
Well, not even shoot the freaking puck. Get it on net, because very often you would see they have more offensive possession. They have as many shot attempts as the other team. The other team has like 60 or 166% more shots. And I mean, how could you possibly be playing tough, hard to play against hockey? And I'm sorry, I don't have sympathy for the team that they're having to adjust to life without Jake Muzzin. We always knew this was a problem. Like, for the exact same reason I don't care that Philadelphia has to play without Ryan Ellis. I feel sympathy for Jake Muzzin as a person. I feel it for Ryan Ellis as a person. But those teams have to know that life without those players is a very distinct possibility. It's a more likely possibility than it is with other players. Muzzin, when he was hurt in training camp, they're like, oh, don't worry, it's not a new injury, it's one he's always had. What? That doesn't make me feel better at all. That means he's got a chronic issue. And now that issue isn't even the one he's out with. So they've got to find a way to play tougher. And I think it's a mentality. Like, Bunting is one of the smallest guys in the team. Giordano is the oldest skater in the league, and those guys were at the forefront of that scrum at the end of the Philly game. Come on. It's got to be a mindset.
So I find it hard, just to get to the Shanahan thing, I find it hard to blame the president for what's going on, but this is what I blame him for. I think it's very hard right now with Dubas being like basically a lame duck general manager.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure he's got to jump through more hoops than he normally would if he wants to trade the guy who I've been saying they should trade for the last year and a half, and that's Mitch Marner. I know it's nearly an impossible route to go, but I think if this team is ever going to get tougher and better, he's the guy. But if they were going to fire Dubas, they should have done it this offseason. They should never let him go this whole season as a lame duck with only 1 year left, because it's too hard. And now what are you going to do? You're going to re-sign him throughout all this that's going on right now? Are you going to extend Kyle Dubas? I don't know what kind of message that'll bring to the team.
They don't learn their lessons because when they lost to Boston in 2019, where they were the better team through most of that series, and they waited until Game 7 to play far and away their worst game of the series. They weren't even close to in it at any point from puck drop to the end of it. I was like, we're done with this Babcock thing. It's not working. He's got Patrick Marleau out there with 2 minutes left. We're done. We're done here. It's over.
Yeah.
Then Chris Johnston came on the show, and he's talking about, well, the team was really excited or really encouraged by how the Leafs won a tight game 2-1 in Game 5. And I'm like, oh my dear Lord. Like, okay, so what's going to happen is they're going to start bad, and at some point it's going to be, I got the impression it was just going to get to the point where it was too late, and they would have to ride the season out with Babcock. But you remember all those videos of Dubas shouting with Shanahan about Babcock, and look what he's doing. There was an overtime game against Columbus. He has to know they figured out. Blah, blah, blah. I think if it were purely up to Dubas, he would have fired him then and there. But it wasn't. Then we go into the season. You got to bring in Keefe. Keefe has to assume a team mid-season, and you can have success like that, but it's difficult. And he had some success and he wasn't able to maintain it. But here we are now, 3 seasons later, exact same thing, exact same problem.
I just want a yes or no answer. Is Barry Trotz a better coach than Sheldon Keefe?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Then why wouldn't you want the best guy? And I'm sorry, I like Sheldon Keefe, but something's not right. And
here's I agree, something's not right. But what I would suggest to Toronto Maple Leafs fans, and I haven't heard anyone ask this question, why would Barry Trotz want to coach here? Like there are some
would coach.
You think so?
100%. I think he's hinting at it too. He's having fun with it too.
Well, he had the comments that people made a big deal about.
He wants to coach
an
original 16,
six,
and he wants to coach in Canada. Well, there's 2 choices, and he doesn't speak French, as far as I know. So there you go.
I mean,
it's one of those things where, look,
you know what? They have the money, Steve. Like,
of course they do.
Like,
of course they do.
I don't think there's any question they could get him if they wanted him. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I look. Hey, I got nothing bad to say about Barry Trotz. Folks.
Of course,
no.
I have nothing but good things to say. It's still one of the most embarrassing things in.
But how do you think Mitch Marner would react to Barry Trotz?
I don't
probably
think Barry
not great.
Trotz cares.
Barry Trotz doesn't care.
Right.
Like
and he wouldn't retract. He wouldn't retract comments after he made absolutely right comments after a game.
Hey, let me take you back through some of the Barry Trotz highlights. Barry Trotz, Steve, you'll remember this. It was probably a dang it. Back in the day when he was still with Nashville, Sergei Kostitsyn was on a back check.
Yep.
He peeled off, caused a 3-on-1, and they got scored on.
Yep.
He benched Sergei Kostitsyn for 2 weeks, and Sergei Kostitsyn demanded a trade, and him and his brother were in Montreal a month later. Then he comes to Washington, and in the year that they won the cup, he benched Alex Ovechkin, not for a shift, for an entire game because he was 5 minutes late because his alarm didn't work for a team meeting. He benched the captain and the greatest goal scorer of all time, and the whole team went, he's for real.
Right.
A month later, the Caps were on a 5-game losing streak, and they got their ass kicked in Colorado. Producer Adam, you like that? They got their ass kicked in Colorado. And Barry Trotz came out and said, every single one of our guys tonight was subpar for this league. Everything was bad. I remember the exact quote, the power play, the penalty kill, it all stunk. That's what he said, and he walked off. 4 months later, they won the Stanley Cup. Now, I'm not saying that a coach coming in and doing this and that and slamming on a star player is going to make the Leafs win the cup. But if Leaf fans and if some of those players in there, look, we're not in the room. We don't know. Maybe they all get along with Sheldon. I don't know. From the outside looking in, it doesn't look like some of them are. If they think, Barry Trotz, he won a Stanley Cup, he's going to come in here and everything's going to be great.
Makes them accountable.
Think Sheldon Keefe is tough? That dude will come in and absolutely drill them to the wall if they don't play good defensively. And right now, they don't. Steve, I want your opinion on this. I've watched every game, and I know you have too.
I'm sorry.
The play to me that really stuck out where I went, boy, something is funky here, was the LA game when they're trailing by 2 with 5 minutes left. They throw Marner out there. They've got 4 forwards out there. William Nylander draws a penalty in front of the net. He gets cross-checked. There's about 2.5 minutes left now. They win the power play faceoff. Matthews bobbles it at the line, and Anze Kopitar goes by him. And instead of skating, keep in mind they're fresh right now. Instead of skating with Kopitar, who is not Connor McDavid, Matthews reaches up and hooks him and negates the power play, and that basically sealed the game. Now, maybe they lose anyway, but right there, I just went, that... I watched Ovechkin do that a lot over the years. Power play guy on the point, lazy hooking penalty, whatever. Barry Trotz drilled that out of him. Now, I'm not saying that Matthews needs something drilled out of him. He's your best player, but that play right there, I went, boy, something really is wrong.
Yeah, I think it's all between the ears. And, other side of the coin, or sorry, to finish that thought, it's between the ears, and they're not feeling good. And they're not the sort of team who can power through that. They need something to go their way. Like last night, something went their way. and that something was the Flyers are awful. They're so bad. I can't believe how soft they are in front of their own net, especially on the penalty kill. But they were able to ride that. They were able to ride the momentum, and Tavares put the team on his back. Yada. Other side of the coin, Marner at his best plays a great two-way game, and Matthews at his best plays a great two-way game. And I can see Barry Trotz doing truly special things with those guys.
We solved it then.
Sorry?
We've solved the issue.
We've solved it.
That's done.
Listen, God himself is not winning a cup with that decor. They gotta.
It's not good.
They gotta do something about that. It's not good, and you can't count on Muzzin coming back.
I couldn't believe nothing was done between Sunday and Wednesday when it came to personnel. I know it's hard to react when things are bad, and you shouldn't trade guys when they're at their lowest value and blah blah blah. But I thought a message should have been sent. Justin Hall, sorry, but you're done. You can't play in this league. You're done. Goodbye. See you later. They had to do something, and they didn't.
They
won, but he is tough. It's too bad.
It's tough watching him, and he's a popular teammate. They like him and everything, but that's not at the end of the day in terms of winning. That's not what this is about. You know how many popular teammates Ovechkin lost? Do you know?
That's what I'm saying.
I almost cried when they won the cup because the first guy I thought was Mike Green. I was like, my God, wouldn't it have been sick if Mike Green was here? For all the shit kicking that guy took, can't play defense, scored 30 goals. I know. By the way, he should have won the Norris that year as a joke. But he was the first guy I thought of. You know how many popular teammates that they lost? Semin. I didn't love Semin. Best friends with this guy. Brooks Mike Knuble. Fedorov was there. Jason Arnott. Dude, there are lots of popular guys that just don't get to ride the ride.
Right.
And he really can't ride the ride. I mean, it's I feel bad for him because he's clearly better than this, but I don't think not much better. And one thing I'll say about the Kyle Dubas thing, he's a lame duck general manager. He's got a year left on his deal. Barry Trotz put up the best coaching performance of his life with no time left on his deal. There's the famous clip of him shaking Tort's hand when they came back against Columbus going, I'm gone at the end of the year. It doesn't matter. And he knew that and still did what he did. Had a fun time at the parade. I'll tell you that. So if people
sidetracked,
are going, what's Kyle supposed to do? Do something.
And
that's what I'm saying.
If you have no contract.
That's what I'm saying. Do something.
You might roll your eyes. I appreciate them calling up Holmberg because it's something, and you're probably listen. People are. Yeah, but what's the saying? Everyone's going to throw you in situations like this. People are throwing you anchors, not life rafts, or whatever. So I would love. Here's what I would love to see: some of the trade offers the Leafs received in those 3 days.
Oh yeah,
I bet there were some beauties.
I'm sure there was.
Beauties.
I'm sure there was.
What I said on my show, and when I said it's over for this group, not everything is going to happen immediately, and they got a back-to-back coming this weekend. Awful. But I think something's going to happen. I hope before Christmas, but these things can take time. I think American Thanksgiving might be a sweet spot. They have to do something, and there's time to right the ship. I just feel like we have enough of a sample size over the last several years to know the ship's not getting righted.
And that's the thing, right? It's not 10 or 11 or 12 games this season. It's history. Years. This team hasn't won a playoff series.
That always bugs me. I can't stand when people say that. It drives me absolutely insane. We did it for years, every year. Through all of it. Trade Ovechkin, trade Backstrom, trade Holtby, trade everybody. It's not 11 games.
That's what
you're
I'm
still
saying.
Scarred.
Yeah.
The cup. Dude, the cup hasn't made you less mad about that,
Which worries you, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that. Look, I always said if they could just give me one, please, and they did. But Look at the stuff that they did. They changed a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
They changed a lot. And people are going, well, what do you mean? Like Ovechkin stayed, Backstrom stayed. Well, yeah, but look at everybody around them. Green, Semin, star players on that team. The young gun Capitals win 6-5 every night and then lose in 7 to the friggin' Rangers. Or better yet, the Penguins.
Yeah.
All the time.
If Justin Hall is the best 6th defenseman in this team, then Dubas...
I'm so excited.
Hasn't done anything.
I'm so excited he doesn't play for my team.
Well, he's
so excited.
Top 6 right now.
Yeah, I wish he was 6th. I don't think his ice time reflects that. Oh man.
Like, no. I hear you, but like he even top 6. Well, Jordy Ben, when's he come in?
No, just kill me.
He's the savior.
I don't.
And Muzzin, like everyone forgets, like, oh, we're missing Muzzin. Well, yeah, but how old is Muzzin? And he's not exactly.
Jordy Ben 4 or 5 years ago, I think, helps this team.
Oh, sure.
But,
absolutely. But that was, that's
he's
why
injury prone too.
Yeah.
I mean, he showed
injury prone too.
I saw a decent amount of Jordy Ben in the bubble season because he was with the Canucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
No thanks. No thanks. No, thank you.
I don't know what kind of an improvement. I don't really know what kind of you're biting your nose to spite your face in that situation. I think.
Anyway,
Justin Hall
it's a different kind of bad.
Justin Hall is
3rd amongst Leafs defensemen and 5th on the whole team in ice time.
Yeah, it boggles my mind.
Gag me with a spoon.
Boggles my mind.
Because he shoots right-handed, boys.
Yeah.
He shoots right-handed.
Well, Steve, we didn't solve much today, but thank you for coming on.
Yeah, the therapy session's ongoing.
Just call the episode "Do Something."
Do something. That's a good one.
Maybe we will do something with Steve Dangle. I like that. Steve, in all seriousness, though, on a positive note, the SDPN stuff's unbelievable. The LFRs continue to be a lot of fun to watch.
He's a star.
And he is a star. And listen, I even watch when they win. I watch all of it.
I watched
so
last night. This morning,
I want you to know that I don't just show up for what you termed the sad Canadian clown show. I watch the happy Canadian clown too. So,
man, I have fun. I have a good life. I just wish my team would win. That's all. That's all.
Same.
That's all.
Same. That sums it up well.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Let me know how you like the end of the book. And that was a good.
I will. Yeah.
It was nice knowing the behind the scenes there. That fan thing. I never knew that.
Oh yeah.
A renewed sense of confidence and optimism for one Mr. Steve Dangle there. It's good. Steve, we really appreciate this, man. We love having you on the show. You're one of our favorites, man. And it's great to see all the success you and Adam and Jesse are having. SDPN, like I said, when you're done listening to or watching the show, go give those guys a follow, subscribe if you haven't, man. Especially if you're a Leaf fan or just a hockey fan in general, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not watching that stuff. Steve, thank you so much, my friend.
Merci.
Thank you.
All right. Remember, you can watch the show Friday night today, Sunday nights at 9 on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman TV subscribers. We debut on our YouTube channel at 9 p.m. on Friday nights. Follow us on all the best social media apps at Instigating Pod, and you can find us on all the best podcast apps as well, including Apple and Spotify. That's Clarky. I'm Ryan Drury for Greg Balloch and, of course, the incomparable Steve Dangle. Thank you so much for listening to and watching Instigating. We'll be back next week.